into your corn?
As I said, I couldn't get everything in my presentation, but 2 years ago, we worked with Jim Hershey in our area to build some interseeders that come up and did some demo interseeding for me. We did 100 acres. Corn's a little bit too high. Didn't have a good catch. I haven't gone back to that. This year we're going to. I think it's an awesome management practice. I'm letting somebody else write that book right now. We're working on a lot of other things, and I think it's a great tool. Just that I don't have enough time right now to be the innovator of that. I don't have to be the innovator of everything. So I think it's a good practice and a good thing to adopt. There's just a lot of things that need to come in line there that some guys are doing some good work with, and I think they might talk about later on today, and I know Dan's going to talk some about that also.
No-till corn is a rye and wheat. I did it once fall like that.
Yep.
And it was the nicest, where there wasn't any rye or wheat, it wasn't quite as good as where the wheat that was. But the problem I had at the end of the season, where there wasn't any, I thought the yield was better. But I didn't put any extra nitrogen or ammonium sulfate or anything on it. What would you do in that situation? Do you think you lose nitrogen?
So that was the biggest question I got here 2-3 years ago with, and the more taller the rye got 2 years ago, the more phone calls I got. And the big question was, now that the rye is more mature, should I put more nitrogen on? And my recommendation is yes. You're definitely tying up some nutrients with that rye, absolutely. I know, was it the wheat and the rye?
It's just the rye.
All right. I know I've done some wheat, and wheat does some funny things with corn. I've seen sometimes guys love it, but you definitely want to. It's tough, especially the first year or two in doing the large biomass. Is there's going to be a little bit of a drain to your system. Absorbing the amount of nitrogen that is put into that biomass. And if your soils aren't cycling fast, that you're going to need to keep feeding your system to get things built up. My operation, we've been doing big covers like this with our beans and that. We have about 4 to 5 years of some pretty large covers that has our system. And getting a green plant back in the system right away after harvest is important, and that's where I think interseeding is going to be huge going forward. And I think to keep the system running strong. Last time, I know Rick Haney was here. A lot of us that are in the know are hearing about backing off of nitrogen, but we see instances like what you saw, a little bit of a yield drag. And I still encourage guys to put nitrogen on. We're still applying nitrogen in our operation, doing some side dressing. On my operation, I didn't have no pictures of it, but we're actually using some optic sensors. I know Brett McGrath is in here from Northern Ohio. He's doing some work with that. But I'm kind of using Ag Leader's optic systems as an on real-time nitrogen application on. We're putting about 75 pounds down with the planter, no pop-up. But we have some manure history on that on our operation. But we apply that manure, but it is taken up in that rye. You see the amount of rye, so it's not all available. So I still like to have some nitrogen with the planter. It's a must. And I felt that 75 pounds, 60 to 70 pounds is a nice little sweet spot. And we come back and allow my optic systems to give me a real-time reading of what my soils are giving back to my corn. It's been a unique tool. We're still learning how to use it. But I do pull PSNTs in Pennsylvania, and then I use my optic system. Last year, the PSNT was saying I should put on another additional 100 pounds of nitrogen. I didn't. I put those PSNT tests in my book for NRCS, because I'm getting a little bit of funding for CSP. and I need to do PSNT test, and it said I should put on X amount of more pounds of nitrogen, and I didn't, because my optic sensor said that I didn't need it. So I went in at the end of the year here with my NRCS lady, and she's like, I showed her the PSNT test. She's like, oh, that's good you took them. I said, yeah, but here's the kicker. I said, I only applied 40 pounds of N at side dress, and this says that I should have put 200 more pounds on because of the rain we had. I said, so I really saved 150 pounds of nitrogen according to what this recommendation is. She just kind of looked at me. I said, so wasn't I a better steward to not apply that 150 pounds? Yeah. I said, so we're supposed to adopt a better practice with this PSNT test, and would have been worse. She didn't know what to say. In my operation, we're growing corn with 0.6 to 0.7 pounds of nitrogen, even less at times. And pretty new into the system, 2-3 years, keep your nitrogen levels up there. You get into a good diverse rotation, you can slowly start weaning yourself off some, but heavier soils than that, every area is a little bit different. I'd love to say that we don't need nitrogen, and I hope someday we'll get to that. But I look at the history that Jay and Dave have here, and I've been doing it a long time, they've been doing it even a lot longer than I have. And it takes a long time to build your soils up to be able to start removing some of that stuff. And we have definitely weaned ourselves off considerably, but our systems are soils are a deprived system, degraded system, and we need to keep it moving along. So I would still keep the nitrogen there.
You're putting on mainly rye, or are you trying to put in some small seeds, and what is your chemical program before you?
Yeah, in the fall, the cover crops in the fall, you mean? That picture had peas, vetch, and some crimson in with it. A lot of,
What was it, what was the chemical industry?
well, I was doing things you shouldn't do. I was using Canopy. Canopy says like 15-month rotation interval. But I'm only using 1 ounce versus 2 ounces, I think is the recommended rate. I think I might be dinging my legumes a little bit, but I'm still having a really good growth from a lot of my legumes. The biggest thing I think is we've thinned our rye back, and it's helped my legumes considerably doing a companion like that. We're down to 15 pounds of rye, but we're still getting the tillering. I'm planting 15 pounds of rye, 30 pounds of winter pea, about 5 pounds of vetch, and 3-4 pounds of, I forget what clover, crimson sometimes. There was a new one I tried this year, but I don't know where that got to. But, the rye is allelopathic to some of our legumes. That's why I've been thinning back my rye. We're getting such growth to it. My biggest culprit is slug damage. I've been not having, you definitely want to watch. I used to use a lot of Lexar and Lumax back in the day. Well, there's like a 18-month restriction on alfalfa. And working with some dairy farmers, started to realize we're trying to grow some of these cover crops. You really got to be focused on your herbicide. And that does start right now. If what you're wanting to do in the fall, get with Jay, if you're working with Jay on your cover crops, and start a cover crop plan now. You need to plan ahead. A lot of these soybean fields are having some herbicide resistant weeds in it, and everybody's starting to throw the kitchen sink at it. They're probably going to start having issues trying to grow some cover crops, aren't they? And that's back to my soybean slide. It's like everybody's screaming, we got to put all these chemicals on, and dicamba this and dicamba that, and Canopy EX and 2,4-D and a quarter Roundup last year. I do a lot of crop shares. I do about 6 crop shares with some farmers. I give them the bill in the summertime and the spring after we get done. And they're like, where's the rest of the bill at? And I'm like, this is it. Well, I'm talked to my other neighbor, and he's like going to go broke because of what they're doing. And I said, well, that's your benefit of working with me. I said, you might not get 250 bushel corn in your operation, which he doesn't have 250 bushel corn. And he talks to the guys that do have ground to do that. And like, we have 150 bushel corn ground here. Like, we got to be profitable off 150 bushel corn. And he's, a lot of my crop share guys have allowed me to do that. And they don't know anything. It's been a cheap program with a canopy. It kind of fell upon it. We're going to change it up a little bit this year with our non-GMO. I'm a little bit nervous about that, but we'll get there. But the whole planting green and the big rye, I love it. I don't think I went to one dicamba training and I got pissed off because I finally left because they talk about all these weeds don't like competition. So why are we burning everything off and making it brown and down? It's like, let something grow. The cover crops are some of our cheapest herbicides we have, but it takes management.
What is your program for the non-GMO weeds?
I don't know yet. That's what I love about it.
Will you be able to plant green?
I'm still going to plant green, but I'm going to be knocking that rye out a lot sooner with a grass herbicide, a lot sooner. I'm not going to lose that opportunity.
How are you going to kill the clovers and the
Well, I typically in my beans is only rye. The only thing I have is a grass. So I'm still going to run, I'm still planning on running my early canopy and 2,4-D. Come back, yes, with some select. And I might have to make another pass later on. What I don't like is we're going to be still having a pretty open canopy of what's going to happen. But what's pretty cool is well, going to beans this year after 3 to 4 years of having big rye, we got them out of rye cover stubble on the ground like this. That's helping with sunlight hitting the ground and triggering things. But I'm afraid it might be a 3-pass program in my beans this year. Well, I actually had 3 passes last year, so what am I saying? So it'll be the same as last year because last year we got the beans planted so late, the rye was getting big. I sprayed my rye out because I didn't want it to go to grain. And that's what kind of had me this aha moment of doing some relay soybeans. Here I was rushing around trying to spray the rye before it went to grain. I'm like, well, this is dumb. Why don't we manage this system a little bit better to gain a little bit of money and to maybe ease some pressure of some of the weed issues with having a little more cover out there longer.
You have the wheat in your rotation, and what cover crop program do you use for the wheat?
I put wheat back in this year, the first in about 6-7 years. So I don't have any surefire program on wheat. I recommend keep it under $30. Use more species with less volume. That's my recommendation. Talk to Jay, see what's working in your area. If you're wanting to spend 25, 30, work with your species. The more species, the better, in my book. One's a winter kill, one's a clean up in the spring.
Very good. Well, we're at the time period here, so we want to transition, take a little break for everybody to get up. And again, thank you very much, Lucas, for the talk here.